We're going to have a little heart-to-heart, full transparency type of conversation right now, Amp Unit. Because you see, Monday Night Raw consistently, every single week, sucks the passion that I have for pro wrestling right out of me. Whatever passion I have left that I give to this business, to this industry, Monday Night Raw finds a way to suck that passion right out of me. To the point where no matter what AEW does on Wednesdays, or SmackDown does on Fridays, or New Japan Pro Wrestling does over here, or Impact comes out with a good show over here, it just doesn't matter. Because for 3 hours on every Monday night, I am slumped into the Great Depression. And it's hard to get the wheels back in motion to give a damn by Wednesday night. Friday Night SmackDown has its high points with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks and Bayley, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. But even SmackDown cannot put together a top-to-bottom, start-to-finish, beginning-to-end, consistent, good show. It's like this company is incapable of doing such, but at least SmackDown I can make it through 3 hours every Monday night. It's becoming obvious that it is becoming detrimental to my love for pro wrestling. So what's the answer? Not sure. Maybe the long-term answer is stop reviewing Monday Night Raw. Problem solved. Possibly. But I know what the short-term answer is. I'm taking a little bit of a break. Because there was a moment during Raw last night where I literally was dead set on not doing a review at any point today. No review. The show wasn't worthy enough for me to talk about it, and I didn't want to lose brain cells in doing such. But don't worry, there will be a review in this very video. It'll be audio format only because we gotta head out into the world, take care of business and whoop that ass, but it'll be a review nonetheless. But the mere fact that there was a moment last night where I was set on not doing a review, that told me something, man. That lack of passion is on E. You know, when you're just driving around and you think you got enough gas in the tank and you realize out of nowhere that you're on E. You gotta find the nearest gas station, man. You're gonna stall out on the side of the road. That was the Ant-Man. I thought there was more in the tank passion-wise. No matter how bad Raw gets, we're good. Until I looked down at that gauge, at that meter, and it said E, and I was like, whoa. Like, I don't even have the passion to do a review. I mean, that's how bad this show was. But you guys deserve better than that. The Amplified Unit deserves better than that. You show up and show out for this channel. I make sure that I do the same for you guys. So there'll be a review today. But just know that we need to press a little bit of a reset button. Because you guys deserve the very best. I just don't go through the motions, right? There's enough people on this platform where this is their job, right? They can't take a day or a couple days or a week off to clear their head, find that passion, that spark again. They can't do that. They take a day off, they lose money. It's all about money, right? It's their job. So they have to go through the motions, even if they can't stand what they're talking about. And then they just become jaded, and then you can't really take their word for it. It's a vicious cycle. I never want to be that type of person. Thankfully, this isn't my job. I can take off whenever I want, like right now. You will never get BS from the Ant-Man. You will never have BC going through the motions, I assure you. You will always get the most passionate, amplified son of a bitch imaginable on this platform. Or I just won't produce content. So we just had to have that little bit of a talk, man. Let you guys know where I'm at and why for the next several days at least, there ain't going to be any content, man, because I am clearing the schedule for the rest of the week content-wise. Anything I had planned, it's being scrapped. Because again, I want to reiterate, if it's not fully amplified, if there's not full passion behind it, if I'm just going through motions, I don't want to put out content. That's not why I created this channel. So I'm clearing the schedule for the week. Unfortunately, guys, there won't be any more content. If AEW blows it out of the water on Wednesday night, maybe I'll produce something come Thursday. If SmackDown tears the roof off the place Friday night, maybe you'll get a little something out of me over the weekend. I hope to be back in time for TakeOver. You know, I want to be back. I want to be fully ready to go again. But I'm not making any guarantees. But hopefully by this weekend, we're back in action. But this is a huge problem, man. Monday Night Raw, 3 hours, the longest pro wrestling show out of the week for any promotion. And it is literally sleep-inducing. It creates nausea. It makes people physically ill to watch this show. And then you got people that review it like yours truly. And I'm pretty convinced it's taking years off of people's lives just talking about this nonsense. It'll give you heart palpitations. Heart palpitations. It'll make you lose brain cells. And I wish it was just a joke. But it's true, man. Monday Night Raw just is so bad. So very bad. That's not even being overly dramatic. Pro wrestling was always there for me growing up. No matter what age range, man, through the best times and through the worst times, pro wrestling was always there for the Ant-Man. So it's not something I'm just going to give up on. It's something I will always love. And it's sad to see a show like Raw be this bad. And pro wrestling as a whole just be at its lowest point ever. I would not be surprised if Monday Night Raw scores a 1.5 within the next several weeks. 1.5! I couldn't even fathom that just a year ago even. And that's when WWE was already shitting the bed. But I couldn't conceive or even the notion come to mind that a 1.5 was conceivable. No. They're playing around with 1.6 already. Don't be surprised if in the next few weeks you see a 1.5 and then you're just talking about 1 million and some change. Yeah. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Anyway, guys, wanted to let you know what the deal is, man. I'm clearing the schedule for the rest of the week. After this vid, there's no guarantees for the rest of the week because we gotta regroup. And speaking of regroup, man, nobody needs to regroup more than the old man in Stanford. All of those suits and ties under World Wrestling Entertainment's umbrella. Everybody in that company needs to regroup, refocus. They need to find their passion once again. They need to find their amplification. Wrestling boomed in the 80s into the 90s. The late 90s saw an acceleration never thought possible. Early 2000s held steady. The last 10 years, the decline is just overwhelming. And it's going to take all hands on deck to get pro wrestling as a whole back to the promised land. Because I assure you, when WWE is succeeding, everybody is succeeding a lot more. That's why I always say I want to see this company succeed. I'm not one of these dudes that just wants to see it fail. The wrestling business, the industry, the wrestling world as a whole is better when WWE is succeeding. I want to see them get better, man. For the last 3 or 4 years, I created this channel to help them do such. Listen to a knowledgeable fan that wants to help. But when you're stubborn as fuck, you don't want to take the help. You know what's best. You watch your 2.4 drop to a 2.1, then a 1.9, then a 1.7, and soon a 1.5 and below. And you keep falling until you are on your ass reaching out for help and nobody's there left to help get you back on your feet. That's what it's going to come to. Don't wait till it's too late, Vince. Take the help while it's being offered to you. Much love to you guys. I wanted to let you guys know what the deal is, all right? So enjoy this review. I'm going to head out, get a coffee, and cut it for you guys right now, actually, man. I'll try to get this done in about a half an hour to 45 minutes, this whole review. I'm going to try to have some fun with you guys. I have to be lighthearted because I have to find some joy in this, right? I have to make this as fun as possibly I can because the show is that bad. And I'm going to try to entertain you guys as best as possible, as I always try to. You know that. So, let's rock it out. And until I talk to you guys again, man, keep whooping that ass, amplified style. Enjoy the review. Check you. The show starts off kind of weird. Drew McIntyre is in the ring with Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Christian, and The Big Show. Drew's talking a whole lot of nothing, something about being friends for a while, looking up to them, and it was good to see them at the Clash, as if he didn't know they were showing up to the Clash. All right, buddy. He's talking so softly, too, I can't even hear this dude. He is talking like he's at some quiet 5-star Manhattan restaurant. The only problem with that is he's not at some quiet 5-star Manhattan restaurant. He is a wrestler with a microphone on WWE Raw Live. You need to amp yourself up. I'm not saying you gotta cut a Warrior-esque promo to your supposed friends, quote unquote. But you need to, here's a crazy concept, allow your audience to hear your words. It's not that hard to grasp. I don't know what it is with the promos in the Thunderdome. At first I thought it was just the Thunderdome static because production likes to make a lot of static noise. So it seems there's a crowd that's actually being loud. So like Friday night with Bayley's promo, that was drowned out by static. Pure static to make it seem like a crowd is making noise. But now I'm starting to think that these wrestlers are just not speaking up. Maybe they're told not to. So the production static can supersede it. But these wrestlers are they're not just not speaking up, they're taking it down 5 decibels. Drew McIntyre could be talking about green eggs and ham for all we know. Hey, Big Show, yeah, we're friends. Shawn, you taught me a lot in NXT. And Rick, you have some good bar stories from the times you were drunk. And Christian, you're a good buddy to Edge. And I like to put syrup on my eggs. And what are you talking about, bro? Can you have friendship hour another time? You're putting all of us to sleep. This is the kickoff to the show. There's no spark at all. This conversation is putting me to sleep. And it would have if it didn't perturb me even more. I was actually pissed off by the conversation. Can we do this another time? What does this have to do with the show? What does this have to do with exciting a crowd and getting us interested for the rest of the night? Nothing. Randy Orton shows up on the Tron and says he's getting another title shot because he's Randy Orton. And then he walks out of the building. And he has a suitcase, so you know he's not going anywhere. You know damn well they made a dramatic exit for Randy. Obviously, he's sticking around. And he just demands another title match. Trust me when I say this. Do not be surprised if it's Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell. And you say, BC, he just lost clean during the ambulance match at Clash of Champions and at SummerSlam. And I'd say you're right. Both times. It doesn't mean he's not going to get another title match at the end of next month. Trust me, that's how this company works, man. They don't care about continuity. They don't care about a story being told the right way. They don't care about matches being meaningful. They don't care. So you'll get the same match 17 times. They don't care. The way this company builds stories is by literally putting on the match 17 times. So the story is just seeing the match 17 times. To the point of nausea. Don't be surprised if you see this again, because Randy Orton just said, I can get another title shot because I'm Randy Orton. And who the hell's going to stop him? There's no authority figure anymore. Adam Pearce is the only authority figure. And if you don't know who Adam Pearce is, don't worry. You don't need to. He is not an authority figure that anybody actually takes seriously. Adam Pearce is going around making demands and calling the shots. And then you wonder why it's Randy Orton who's superseding him. McIntyre announces an open challenge for his title later in the night. And that's that. If you're looking for a spark, you came to the wrong place. Monday Night Raw is not the show. The kickoff to Monday Night Raw would put you to sleep if you weren't just angered by it. That was your post-Clash of Champions kickoff to Raw. The segment right from the jump that is supposed to captivate your interest and get you intrigued for the rest of the night is Flair, Michaels, Christian, and Big Show having a powwow friendship moment with Drew McIntyre. Randy issues another championship match. Drew McIntyre is issuing an open challenge. Ooh, can't wait to see who this is. You know, any other time I'd say that's true. Hey, an open challenge can be fun. For instance, when Cody is doing it over in AEW, or when he was doing it when he was champion, that was fun. You really didn't know who it was. Or it was some up-and-coming talent or some indie talent that you wanted to see more of. It was intriguing. When John Cena used to do it. What was that, guys? The United States Championship, maybe? But Cena used to issue an open challenge, and every week, you may not have been over the moon intrigued, but a little sliver of you was kind of interested to see who it was going to be. With this, come on, it's WWE. For all we know, they could parade out Big Show. Now, who they actually sent out later in the night, yes, it was a bit of a surprise, but I can't say it excited me or I gave a fuck. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But if you're looking for a spark, you came to the wrong place. Post-Clash of Champions, this is the segment that speak to us, man. Tell us that you're listening. Tell us that you're going to change. Show us by your actions. This is the same fucking product. Thank goodness for SmackDown. SmackDown is the only reason I care about anything WWE is doing with Sasha and Bayley and Alexa Bliss and The Fiend and Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and that whole situation. SmackDown is keeping this company afloat, barely. At some point, 3 hours of Raw every single week is going to have to carry their own weight. They're going to have to help out SmackDown. SmackDown can't carry the ship the whole distance. It's not going to work. Raw has to step up and start carrying its own weight. This show absolutely sucks. Can you tell I'm angered by this shit? Where's Retribution? Where's Raw Underground? Oh, they're both off the show. You know why? Because they heard the heat that they were getting. They realized, wow, it really does suck. And they had to keep it off. They're like, shit, we need some ratings, man. So they're too stubborn to totally ex-nay the bullshit. So they show a little video package for Retribution. So you have this group that's trying to destroy WWE. Yet, we're gonna pump them up with video packages. Okay, yeah, bullshit. That's just Vince being stubborn and saying, no, we're not accepting defeat. In fact, here's a video package. See, Retribution is not dead. But they're totally off the show. So you know damn well they're not pulling in ratings. You know people are leaving the show because of Retribution and Raw Underground. But you're too fucking stubborn to just admit you're wrong and do a change up. Reverse. It's okay to go backwards sometimes. That's why a car has reverse. That's why your feet can go backwards. That's why your remote has play, fast forward, and rewind. It's okay to go backwards to make things right. No, he refuses to end Raw Underground and Retribution. So he's going to leave them off TV for a couple weeks, try to get viewers back, maybe to 1.7, 1.8, get closer to 2, and then he's going to hit you with more Retribution and Raw Underground. He's going to try to fucking fish you in, right? He's going to reel you in with some fucking worms in the deep section of the pond. Try to catch some little fish. No Retribution, no Raw Underground. It's not a coincidence. They know they don't pull in ratings. In fact, people are leaving by the droves because of BS like that, so they kept them off the show. First match of the night was a rematch for the... What was this for? The Raw Women's Championship. That's what it was. And this was... a rematch from just 24 hours earlier at the Clash of Champions. Asuka versus Zelina Vega. So Orton's declaring an automatic rematch for Drew's title, even though he lost at Clash. And Zelina gets an automatic title rematch too, even though she just lost at Clash 24 hours earlier. Why not? Who gives a fuck sense? Certainly not this company. This was a 9-minute match, but if you take away the commercial break, it matches their 7-minute match from Clash of Champions. Zelina goes for a moonsault, but Asuka puts both knees into her gut and subsequently locks in the Asuka lock, and Zelina taps. Okay, that's again just the same thing I said at Clash. It's the right decision. Zelina should not be taking the title off of Asuka. But that also doesn't mean I need to see Zelina losing fucking the next 3 shows to Asuka the same fucking way. This is what I mean about lack of creativity. When you're a billion-dollar conglomerate company, you claim you have 614 of the most creative writers. You have a supposed 70-some-odd-year-old genius at the helm. And all you do for your shows, you say, Raw title. Let's have the same match as the Clash. Let's have a rematch. And somebody could literally say, Vince, it doesn't make sense. It was a title match and Zelina lost. Shouldn't she go to the beginning of the line? No. Give her as many opportunities as possible. Because if they don't give Zelina another title match, then they have to actually think. Vince and WWE top officials, they don't like to think because it hurts their head. If they think, they get a headache. Creativity is a poison. It's kryptonite. So why think about a new challenger for Asuka? Let's just give the same match a few times, or at least buy us some time, right? Maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks, we'll think of Hell in a Cell and Asuka's opponent. Andrade then hits the ring. He says some words about, he kind of berates Zelina. Basically just severing their ties even more. But with Garza's injury, and by the way, people are like, oh, BC, the finish at Clash was because Garza was injured. I don't care what the reasoning was. I don't care if the Thunderdome just like got picked up like the Wizard of Oz house and was sent over to the land of Oz. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. I don't care what happens. That was a botch. The referee, when somebody clearly had their shoulder up at 2, not even close to 3. It wasn't the tail end of 2. It was the top of 2. And the referee just counts 3. And you're telling me it's because somebody was injured. Well, find a better way to end the match, dude. I'd rather you literally just end the match because somebody's injured rather than do a botch finish like that. Because even if he planned to count to 3, it's botched. It's a fucking botch. Nobody knew what was happening. Not even the commentators. That was not part of the show. Somebody gets injured, you have to have a better protocol than a botch count. I'm not going to buy it. I don't care who was injured, what happened. You got to find a better way. Anyway, with Garza injured and Zelina now getting a singles push, Andrade further cements the separation. And after he has words with or for Zelina, Andrade issues an open challenge as if he has anything of value. I love Andrade, I really do, and I know that he's so talented. But the dude just lost 97 straight tag team matches to the Profits, and now all of a sudden, he's out there talking tough. He's out there trying to be Drew McIntyre. At least Drew has a championship. That's the whole point of an open challenge. Andrade's just like, I'm the best. Never mind, I just lost 97 tag matches in a row. I swear I'm the best. In fact, who wants to fight me? And I'm thinking, isn't that Aleister Black's shtick? And then I'm thinking, if you want an open challenge, why ain't you just taking Drew McIntyre's open challenge? There's a championship on the line. You want to fight, why not just go for Drew? Now there's a stipulation. It's anybody who hasn't fought Drew for the championship in the past. I don't recall Andrade doing such, but maybe he did. Maybe it was 100 times 2 the way this company does rematches. Anyway, Keith Lee answers the challenge. And why not, right? Keith Lee is probably thinking, shoot, I should jump on this. It's TV time. I was only going to be sitting and catering all night anyway because I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon already forgot about me. So why don't I'll answer this challenge. Here comes Keith Lee, and I'm not even joking. 3 minutes later, Andrade was flat on his back looking up at the lights. A spirit bomb, and Keith Lee is victorious. That's great for Keith. Andrade was just talking tough. Andrade's like, I'm the best. Who wants to try to fight me? 3 minutes later, this guy is out. Staring up at the lights, but I don't know if he was consciously looking at them because the lights were on, but nobody was home. That spirit bomb was vicious. So I don't know what they're doing with Andrade, but that was absolutely fucking... Wow. If you're Andrade and you show up to the Thunderdome and you receive that type of booking, how do you not roll your eyes, brah? Hour number 1 ends with R-Truth, Ninja Tozawa, and Ninja Gulak playing hot potato with the 24/7 title. Literally, I think they all pinned one another. That's right, I said Ninja Gulak. I'm not even going to bother explaining. If you didn't watch the show, congratulations. Good for you. You're better off. Hour number 2 kicks off with the return of the King's Court with Jerry Lawler, and his guests are the entire Mysterio family. And a little side note, you guys want to know how off this company is? How everyone is on a different page? Probably in a different chapter on a different book. We received emails of what was to come on Monday Night Raw earlier in the day,
and it literally had a graphic of the King's Court with the Mysterio family with Baron Corbin as the guest. Not Jerry Lawler, Baron Corbin, guys. He's on SmackDown! Oh, I can't even. They told the marketing department that there's going to be a King's Court. So have a picture with the King and the Mysterio family. Marketing doesn't even probably watch the product. So they're like, the King. Who's the King? Oh, Baron, okay. And they put Baron Corbin with the Mysterios. Can't make that shit up. So Jerry Lawler's in there. Each Mysterio speaks their grievances towards Rollins. You could tell that this was rehearsed 127 times in the locker room before the show went on the air. You can just tell everybody turned into a fucking actor or actress. Rollins appears on the Tron and shows text messages between Murphy and Aaliyah. Murphy confronts Rollins. Dominic runs to the back and jumps Murphy because, hey man, that's my sister. She's only 19, man. So Dominic attacks Murphy. Rollins is just in the background laughing. So Rollins is the master manipulator and instigator lately. I'm kind of loving this another layer to Seth Rollins. I guess it always was there, but this is now amplified. So I do like that. And then listen, I don't mind the involvement of the Mysterio family. You know, it's a storyline, you know, and that's all we can ask for. Is it epic? Absolutely not. Is it kind of going a little bit long with the same individuals? Yes. I mean, I love long-term storytelling, but you know, you got to stay captivating week in and week out. I can't say that this has done that. It's a story nonetheless. They're trying new things every week, I suppose. Whether it's good or bad is in the eye of the beholder. Obviously, I love seeing Aaliyah out there because she's so damn beautiful. I don't think Mama Mysterio speaks a lot of English, but she's there with the family. She's a trooper. And, you know, Dominic continues to grow in the business. And it's always good to see Rey Mysterio. So I don't know, man. I don't mind this. I don't think... I know for a fact they don't have an end game. So that's the thing. We've seen Dominic and Seth Rollins a million fucking times in the last 3 months, right? So now you have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, and Vince, I know how he thinks, man. He's going to be like, this is perfect for Hell in a Cell. And you're going to get probably, most likely, Seth Rollins and Dominic again at the end of October. So that's the problem I have with it. Not that the Mysterios are being used as a family or that Aaliyah is now in storylines or you have this sibling rivalry between Dominic and Aaliyah, because later in the night there's a little bit of a sibling rivalry. I'll get to that. But I don't mind all of that. What I mind is where is it going? I don't want to see the same match 102 times. So that was the kickoff of hour number 2, guys. The Rollins games continues, man, and the manipulation, and even his own disciple, Murphy, is feeling the wrath of Rollins and his manipulating power. Next up, Raw's newest tag team, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. That's not a joke, guys. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are your new Raw tag team. They defeated Lana and Natty, 4 blondes in one match. Vince McMahon may still be locked in a bathroom doing things. 4 blondes in one match, man. You know Vince McMahon was just on cloud 9 with this. And Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke went, and you're not going to believe how hour number 2 ended, by the way, with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke making a proclamation. I'm going to get to that in just 1 minute. That was at the end of hour number 2. So I'll get to that in a minute. First off, Kevin Owens was next with Aleister Black. Again, this match. Owens beat Black clean on Raw just 2 weeks ago. If that wasn't the end of this subpar feud, why have Black eat an L so carelessly? Dumbass booking at its finest. On top of that, they changed Black's music and entire entrance. Why? This is deliberate sabotage to someone who should be a top star in that company. And I'm talking about a top face, not just a top dude. Everything that made Aleister Black special, they have changed. His look, his entrance, his music, his whole style has changed because of it. The gimmick. What he is, face to heel for no reason. They changed everything about this dude for no reason other than to sabotage him because Vince McMahon was too scared that he might get over on his own, and McMahon can't stand that. You cannot be bigger than the company, or you will be demoted, or shelved, or fired. Of course, Black loses this match. This one was via DQ, and post-match, he gets a stunner just to make him look like more of an idiot. So even after Aleister Black obliges and he does everything McMahon has asked him to do, he has changed everything McMahon has asked him to change, he is still being booked like a jobber, like a clown, like a fool. At this point, I would take the Brooklyn Brawler or Barry Horowitz over Aleister Black, and that's a sad truth. Next, as if we hadn't seen enough of these three rolling around the floor backstage together, we get a triple threat 24/7 title match, Gulak, Ninja Tozawa, and R-Truth. Don't you love when the 24/7 title is actually being competed for in the middle of the ring like it's an actual title? Sarcasm was implied there. It's the 24/7 title. We don't need this thing to be official in the middle of the ring. Let them roll around backstage. Try to find each other's balls or whatever the fuck they're doing. R-Truth pins Drew Gulak in just a couple of minutes. Just wow, man. That's all I gotta say. Just fucking wow. There are human beings, grown adults that get together around a boardroom table meeting, and this is the shit that they think is good. As I aforementioned, hour number 2 ends with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Get this, guys. Warning Nia and Shayna that they're coming for the titles. What the fuck? Are you serious? Are you serious, dude? You just formed. You had one match. And now Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are declaring themselves up next for the titles. Whoever wins with Nia and Shayna versus the Riot Squad, or 2/3 of the Riot Squad, Liv and Ruby, whoever wins that match, Mandy Rose said, we're coming for those titles. They had one match. They just formed 22 minutes before they made that announcement. I made a joke last week about Kayla Braxton and Charlie Caruso. And the joke was simple. I just said Charlie Caruso could make a tag team with Kayla Braxton one night, and they could be going for titles the very next week. Kayla Braxton and Charlie Caruso, because in WWE, all you need to do to get a championship match is just form a team. If you're a singles competitor, just wait around 2 or 3 weeks. You'll get a title match. And then you'll get 17 more title matches right after, so it doesn't even matter if you win or lose that title match. You'll get 17 title rematches. But as a tag team, you get an instant title match because there is no tag teams, there's no division. So don't be surprised if by the year's end, Mandy and Dana Brooke are going for tag titles. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, man. Hour number 3 begins with Dominic Mysterio versus Murphy. Aaliyah intervenes and Dominic gets fruit roll-upped by Murphy, and Murphy picks up the W. The awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up takes Dominic out. Dominic is pissed off, obviously, post-match, so he starts hauling off on Murphy with a kendo stick. Aaliyah, who's obviously smitten with Murphy, is pissed off at Dominic for putting a whooping on her new boyfriend. Aaliyah's like, Dominic, stop. I love him. And Dominic's looking at Aaliyah like, you will love nobody forever. You're my sister. You stay locked in the basement. You know how any older protective brother would act around their sister, especially if they have somebody who's years older than them, trying to date them. Yeah, you know, I mean, come on, man. You know, so it's believable for sure. Aaliyah smacks Dominic upside his mug, man, right across his dome piece. And she lays in too, man. I gotta give it to Aaliyah. She smacks Dominic and then she storms off. Dominic is pissed off, but he's also got that look like, oh shit, I don't care about me being pissed off because I just got smacked in the face. Now I gotta put up with my pissed off sister. Any man knows, man, and gentlemen, trust me, you will find yourself in this situation a time or two in your life, if you haven't already. But even when we think we're doing everything right, and I'm talking to the dudes out there, even when we think we're doing everything right, man, you will have a woman storm off like that, man. They will be upset for something, and it's your job to figure it out, A, and B, rectify the situation. That goes if you're a significant other, a lover, a husband, a boyfriend, a fiance, or even a brother, a father. When a woman storms off like that, you done fucked up. Try to rectify, man. Aaliyah stormed the fuck off. And Dominic, you can see it in his eyes. He's like, shit, man. I'm going to hear about this for the next week. I loved it. Next up, you thought we saw the last of Lashley versus Apollo after the clash, did you guys? Oh no. This is the gift that keeps on giving. The Hurt Business versus Apollo, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali was next. Yep, they swapped out Cedric and they just inserted Mustafa. And they want us to believe, see, it's a fresh, brand new, original feud. Just because they added Mustafa. Could you imagine if your favorite football team or baseball team played the same team every week or every game? I couldn't imagine if my Packers were taking on the 49ers next week, and then the 49ers in 2 weeks, and then in 4 weeks the 49ers again. In 7 weeks from now it's the 49ers, and the 49ers twice in the playoffs. My Yankees, if they only played the Chicago White Sox, it's a 162 game season, but we will play Chicago White Sox 112 out of the 162 games. What do you mean that's not fun? What do you mean you want to see them play new teams? Anyway, a botched DDT sets up a 450 and Ali pins MVP. Does anybody give a fuck? Ali will be back in catering in 3 weeks. Don't get your panties up in a bunch or don't get your hopes too high. Drew McIntyre versus a return Robert Roode. That's right. The open challenge was accepted by, well, actually, it was accepted by Dolph Ziggler, oddly enough. Like he's actually doing something. He's all proud of himself. He's like, I found somebody. So it's Robert Roode. Okay, it was a good showing for Roode, but a Claymore seals the deal for Drew's victory. I don't think there was ever really a time in this match where Drew was seriously in question of losing his championship belt. It just wasn't happening. And we didn't even see Dolph afterwards. He was so proud of himself, and then what? He went to the fucking local hotel with some fucking dingbat? Dolph's on cloud. Dude, Dolph's mind is on his comedy shtick. The next woman he's about to screw, he doesn't give a shit about what's going on in WWE. One day he's fucking wrestling, the next week he's in Raw Underground shoot fighting. Next 3 months he's not even on TV. Nobody knows what Dolph's doing. Dolph doesn't give a shit. As long as he's got a contract, he's good. So Robert Roode comes back to WWE and he just loses. Okay. You know, you got your big moment. He's the big returning star for the Open Challenge. He loses. Now, where do you go with Robert Roode in the future? Good luck. What a comeback. Post-match, Randy Orton is creeping the hallways, disguised as a janitor. He enters the Legends Lounge, where Michaels, Flair, Christian, and Big Show were playing cards the entire night. And he puts on night vision goggles, and Orton turns the lights off. And Orton basically plays piñata with the legends. Just starts swinging a steel chair in the dark, but he's got night vision goggles, so, you know, the illusion is that he's taking his cracks at the actual superstars, the legends. And when he puts the lights back on, of course, all the legends are sprawled out in that room. They look like they just got, you know, beat up with a chair, or at least that's the illusion. I mean, it was pretty fucking half-ass, if you ask me. But that's the least of our fucking problems with this segment. Randy Orton was gold, though, man. Something about seeing Orton in that jumpsuit with night vision goggles, with the hoodie, because he was actually portraying a fucking janitor. In fact, when he left the room, all the officials were trying to run to the rescue of the legends, and he just pointed as if he was an actual custodian, an actual janitor, and then he kind of just, you know, he methodically walks away. Just like he would during an entrance for a match. You know how methodical he is? He was a methodical janitor. I tell you this, if he was a janitor on somebody's payroll, you would want to fire him on his first day on the job. If he moved that slow, ain't nothing getting clean during the day, not in an 8-hour shift. So how could you not know that was Orton just on the way he was fucking moving? But he played it off great, man. Orton is just gold anyway. I mean, when we say he's a top superstar, it ain't just his wrestling ability, brah. And this year, he has stepped up his promo game exponentially. And then you just look at everything else that he brings to the table, man. He can carry storylines. If you look back at 2020 for WWE, one of the bright spot storylines that you're going to remember, one of the very few, is him and Edge, for instance. And him and Drew McIntyre had a good build, too. A few months ago, you know, did they drag it out too long? Of course, that's what this company does. We like long-term storytelling, but you have to keep us captivated week in and week out. That's what this company doesn't do. So when they do long-term storytelling, there's no interest. Because the way they build stories is by having the match 100 times. That's not building a story. You can call that long-term storytelling. I call that long-term rematching. There's a difference. But that's pretty much how the show ends, too, guys. Orton kind of walks off as an old ragged janitor, while everybody is attending to the legends. Not a horrible way to end the show. I've seen a lot worse ways. You know, at least this is a little bit of a... I don't know what this is, man. It wasn't the worst thing I saw to end the show. The show itself was a pile of fucking dog shit. It just was. This show was atrocious. There's no other way around it. You can have your own opinions on it. If you liked it, I don't know what you're watching. I don't know how you're watching me. We're on two different sides of the spectrum when it comes to what is a good professional wrestling show. But, I mean, if you're okay with Mandy and Dana Brooke just forming and going after titles, I promise you, within the next couple pay-per-views, they will be going after titles. I mean, they just made the proclamation. If you're okay with that, bro, you gotta check yourself, bro. This isn't just about having an opinion, and BC's a mean guy on YouTube. He's a mean YouTuber. You gotta ask yourself, why are you okay with Dana and Mandy just forming and going after tag titles? You gotta ask yourself, why can Randy Orton just demand another title match after he just lost several title matches in a row? Nobody else deserves that shot? You have to ask yourself, why is Robert Roode just coming back after being gone for months and he loses his first match back? You have to ask yourself, why are we getting Owens and Aleister Black again when we just saw this match a couple weeks ago? Black lost clean. There's no reason to have this guy do the job again to the same guy. You're just going to hurt him. Same thing with Zelina. Why have her do the same exact job that you had her do 24 hours earlier to Asuka? Again, this is just hurting people. Why are you okay with ninjas rolling around on the floor backstage? Time and time again. Why are you okay with this? Oh man, I tell ya. And you notice again, there was no retribution. What's up, Vince? No T-bar, no mace, no slap nuts. What about Raw Underground? Nothing, Vince? You got nothing? No Raw Underground, no Retribution? Could it be because you know they're destroying your ratings further and further? But you won't just X-nay them because you're too damn stubborn. So it's still part of the show. Yeah. We're just taking the week off. Yeah, we're forcing it off because it sucks. It's okay to admit you're wrong, Vince. But you have to admit it to create real change. The first step in creating change is admitting you're wrong or knowing what needs to be changed. It's not a coincidence that you did not see Raw Underground and Retribution, guys. It's not a coincidence at all. Just a little video package. And again, that was Vince saying, oh, they're still around. We're not taking them off the air because we're listening to you. See, we made a video package about how they're destroying my company. Makes total sense. That was Raw, guys, for September 28, 2020. I don't even know. I'm going, I gotta go just somewhere. We did it, guys. That's the review. We made it through it. I tend to think that these reviews are more entertaining than the actual shows themselves. You guys tell me that anyway, and I gotta admit, I feel the same. But until we talk again, smash down them coffees, whoop that ass, think, be, live, amped, always. Red Team, go! And I'll talk to you guys in the very near future. Check you later.